Hello, and welcome to Conquering Finale. My name is Jason Lafredo, and today we're once again nailing navigation. We're going to look at two features of navigating that I have a feeling that even longtime Finale users may not be aware of, or they may be aware of them but just don't use them all that much. And I think they're worth taking a look at because they can have an effect on your workflow, I think, if you use them to good effect. And that is the go-to measure and the bookmarks features that I want to talk about. And both can be found in the View menu. Let's start with go-to measure, and you can see that it has a keystroke combination of Command-Shift-G, so we don't even need to be there, just Command-Shift-G. And we get this dialog box that will ask us what measure we want to go to. Let's say we're going to go to bar 125 and hit return for OK. And you'll see that it takes me all the way over to 125. Now in page view, it will put bar 125 sort of in the middle of your screen, which is fine. I do think it's a little bit more useful in scroll view because if you were to go to measure, let's say 25, you'll see that it will put bar 25 on the left of the scroll. But it will work in either view, scroll, or page view, and studio view as well will also work. The thing to know about the go-to measure feature, particularly in scroll view, is that however you have the number bar set at the top sort of has an effect on this. So let me just set something up here. I'm going to edit my measure number region so that this piece starts with bar 10 instead of bar 1. And you can see that bar 10 is defined here at the bottom, but it's also in the measure number bar, which means that this measure number bar is set to show defined measures. Now, with this setup, when you use the go-to measure feature, it'll take you to bar 25, which is the defined bar 25. It's not the 25th bar of the piece, but it is the defined bar 25. In this case, go-to measure 10 would take us back to the beginning. If you set this up the other way, and again, to do this, go to Preferences, go to View, and it's the middle section here, the measure numbers. This has to do with this measure number bar on the top. You can see that display defined measure numbers is checked, but if we display actual measure numbers, we may know that now what we're looking at is the defined bar 10, as you can see in my measure numbers here, is actually the actual bar 1, right? So in this scenario, using the go-to measures, if I were to go to bar 25, it will take me to actual bar 25, even though the defined bar of bar 25 is bar 34. So the settings here will make the go-to measure feature behave slightly differently. Actually, I believe what it should read here is display and go to define measure numbers, display and go to actual measure numbers, but I guess that would take up too much space in this window. But anyway, that's how that works. And let me just go back and reset my measure number region so that we're looking at bar 1 is bar 1. All right. So that is the go-to measure feature. Really handy. Command-Shift-G. I highly recommend you get used to using that one. The other thing I want to look at is bookmarks. And again, in the View menu, it's the option below Zoom. We have these options for bookmarks. And currently you can see I have no bookmarks because I haven't defined any. And the Add Bookmark feature is Command-B. Now, what the bookmarks will do is it will basically take wherever you are in your score. Let's say, let's go to bar 25 again. And even it will even remember the state of the staff sets if you use them. Now I happen to have a staff set programmed here that's showing just my woodwinds, as well as the zoom percentage. So I've just zoomed in a lot. I'm showing woodwinds in bar 25. Now I can press Command B to add a bookmark, and you'll see that I can rename that bookmark. So let's start there. Let's call it Woodwind 25, and I'm going to call it SV for scroll view. And you can see that it's assigned to scroll view. It's measure 25, and the zoom to percentage is 200. And by the way, these have to be checked. If these are unchecked, it's going to ignore the zoom percentage that you're currently viewing. It's going to ignore the staff set, and it's going to ignore the staff on the top. So with all of these checked, I think it's more useful. So basically what I'm doing is adding a bookmark for this view of the score right now, right? And click Add, and you'll see that now that bookmark gets added there. So now what's really neat about this, let's just go back and view all, zoom out a lot. Actually, let's go back to page view, and maybe we'll go to the beginning. So now I'm at the beginning of my score in page view. All I got to do is go to the View menu, go to Bookmarks, go to WW25SV, and it will magically take me to that exact view that I was just looking at, right? So scroll view, bar 25 with the staff set that I had programmed. So that's a pretty neat little feature. Unfortunately, there are no keyboard shortcuts for these added bookmarks, and I guess that makes sense because you can sort of have an unlimited number of these. You can keep adding bookmarks, so I guess you can't have an unlimited number of keystroke combinations. Although, perhaps maybe like a next bookmark, previous bookmark kind of keystroke would be helpful, but alas, that does not exist in Finale. The other thing I want to mention about this, I'm just going to go back and reset this a little bit, back to page view. The other thing that's interesting that we can do with this, and this is kind of crazy, is I'm in the Measure tool right now, and I'm going to double-click any measure to get to the measure attributes. And this seems completely hidden out of view, but in where it says Measure Attributes for Measure 15, if you right-click or control-click in that bar, in that text field there, you'll get an option for measures right here, and it will show you the actual bookmark that you just created, in this case, bar 25. And you can just click that, and it will actually set that for you. So you can, it's amazing that you can actually do that, and I had to dig very deep to find that. But right-clicking in that box right there in the measure attributes will allow you to select a bar from one of your bookmarks, which is kind of interesting and pretty neat. Anyway, that is the go-to measure feature and the bookmarks feature. Again, they can be really handy, and I think they're worth exploring a little bit. Particularly the go-to measure feature, I find is just really great. You can just really quickly jump to any measure in your score if you happen to know the measure you need to go to. So that's how that works, and thanks for watching. I think I've got one more video coming up on nailing navigation, so come back to watch that, and I appreciate you following along. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next video.